All right, here with reaction, he is the host of Life, Liberty, and Levin. I call him the great one, Mark Levin. You know, Mark, not only did he surrender by doing this in America's commitment to the cause of liberty and freedom, its commitment to defeat radical Islamic terrorists, he surrendered in the war on terror. He is now emboldened every terrorist organization and terrorist state, starting with Iran. And he's done it because he basically has put political ambition and the radicals in his party ahead of what is morally right and just. There is right and wrong here, and there are victims here, and there are the victimizers, the terrorists that are responsible for all of this.
You know, let me speak to this, Sean, from my heart. You know, when we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, my grandfather was 34 at the time. He joined the Marine Corps. He wound up fighting at Iwo Jima. His buddy, his brother-in-law, my great-uncle, Teddy, he joined the Marines the same day, and he wound up fighting at Guam and the Solomon Islands. My family, we are red-blooded Americans. We love this country to the core. But I want to speak to you in a few minutes here that we have is not just a red-blooded patriotic American, but a person of the Jewish faith. And I want to speak to Joe Biden directly. Who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are to use these blood libels against the Jewish people, that they're indiscriminately murdering Palestinian civilians, when you spew the lies of the Hamas terrorists against the Jews and unleash anti-Semitism in this country around the world like we've never seen before? Who the hell do you think you are to tell a democracy, the Jewish people that elected this government, that you don't like their government, that you don't like their prime minister, that they need to remove him and place him with some clown or lapdog that you prefer? Who the hell do you think you are to tell the Israelis that they cannot defeat Hamas, which has said, proven again and again, that they want to wipe out the Jewish population in Israel? Who the hell do you think you are to be funding Iran and Hamas and the Houthis and Hezbollah, arming them with our money, with money from oil sales? Who the hell do you think you are? You say you provide weapons to Israel. You haven't provided a damn thing to Israel. Congress provides weapons to Israel. You're the one violating the Impoundment Act and the Constitution by withholding it. Who the hell do you think you are, dictating to the Jewish people who survived the Babylonians, the Persians, the Romans, and the Third Reich, telling them that they cannot wipe out Hamas, which is committed to the evisceration of their population? Who the hell do you think you are to exploit the Jews here at home by going to sacred property, the Holocaust Museum and Memorial, as a political stunt, while secretly behind the back of the Jewish state, you're cutting off arms? Who the hell do you think you are when your party, your Democrat donors whip up anti-Semitism all across this country, and you don't tell them to stop, and you don't send the U.S. Marshals in there so the Jewish kids can go to school, and you don't direct the FBI to cut off this foreign funding from Qatar, your buddies at Qatar, your brother's buddies at Qatar? Who the hell do you think you are to tell the Jewish people in Israel whether they get to live or whether they get to die? I am sick and tired of you. I am sick and tired of your propaganda. I am sick and tired of your exploitation of the Jews in this country. You think that Bernie Sanders, a self-hating Jew, or Thomas Friedman, or Antony Blinken represent the Jewish people in Israel? You think the Jewish billionaires that fund you and your party represent the Jewish people in Israel? Let me tell you something, pal. You're dead wrong. Your exploitation of the Jews, your lies, I'm a Zionist, I'm ironclad with Israel, and your little propagandists, Kirby and the rest, I've had it up to here with you people. The Jews have survived more than you. The Babylonians, the Persians, the Romans, and the Third Reich. You're a pipsqueak. They're going to fight Hamas. They're going to defeat Hamas, whether they hell you and Blinken and your party and the rest of the reprobates like it or not. And when Donald Trump says, if you're Jewish and you vote for Blinken, something wrong with you, you better believe it. That is suicide. You're voting with the very people who are marching in the street who want your extermination. Wake up, America. And let me say this, speaking of America, I want to thank the American people, 80% of whom support Israel, 70% of whom support Israel wiping out Hamas. God bless each and every one of you. Diverse backgrounds, all colors, all religions. You understand. You understand good from evil. You understand barbarians who slaughter women and children, who do things that are unimaginable, which is why the media won't show what took place on October 7th. Joe Biden and Blinken funded October 7th. Donald Trump was destroying Iran. He bankrupted Iran. They didn't have arms. Biden and Blinken come into office, they arm them. They give sustenance to Hamas and Hezbollah. They violate the Teller Force Act. They're paying the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Biden, why don't you condemn the Nazis that run Iran, the Nazis that run Hamas, the Nazis that run Hezbollah by name? You know their names? Rather than trashing the Jewish elected leader of Israel, why don't you name them? Look at their human rights abuses. Why don't you give a damn? You stand there with the King of Jordan twice. You know what the King of Jordan does to his people? You know how many people he's executed? You know how many people he's thrown in prison, including his stepbrother? You know anything about him? You know about Sisi in Egypt? Oh, a moderate Arab. Moderate. He slaughters people. He imprisons people. He cuts off free speech. You understand, Biden, who you've thrown in with against the Jewish people in Israel? I have nothing but contempt for this man. My father was right. He was 17 when he joined the Army after Pearl Harbor. We grew up in Philadelphia, right next door to Biden. And he always said to me, that is a bad man, Biden. Do not trust that man. I don't trust him. I have nothing but contempt for him. And I'm done.
Oh, Mark Levin laying it out. Sad day for America, sad day for the cause of liberty and freedom, and he's emboldening the worst actors on the world stage. Thank you for being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.